Talk to him.
Classic codes, I ain't taking it slow. Forgive me, Lord, I woke up in that mode. Whether the winters were left in the cold.
Yo, it's Classic with the classic codes. Oh yeah, we got another reaction. But before I get started, man, I need y'all to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Of course, hit that like button. Turn on them notifications, man. And if you don't do nothing else, man, stick to the codes. But check it out. We heading over to Anton Daniels today. And we got to crack these codes, man. We got a woman who's talking about dating inside of your tax bracket, or women that are inside of your tax bracket. I have not watched this at all. It's actually a TikTok video that I heard about 5 or 10 seconds of and saved. I was going to do a reaction solo to it, but then I seen Anton covered the same video before I got to it. So I want to join his commentary. Y'all know I'm a reaction channel that react to the reaction. So I'm going to join his conversation commentary because I think this is something that, based on the title, me and him may disagree on. So let's see what's going on, man. Y'all know I ain't about wasting no time. Let's get right into it.
Y'all gonna let me have a real conversation with y'all, or y'all gonna get in y'all feelings about what I'm about to say? Let me know real quick. I'm about to say it anyway. It don't even matter. Y'all gotta start dating within y'all tax bracket. And I'm not even talking about the gold diggers or the women that only wants men for money. I'm talking about the women that got their own bread. I'm talking about the woman that's out here doing it. I'm talking about the women that's buying themselves all types of gifts, that's taking themselves on all types of vacations, right? That can get their homegirls luxurious presents for birthdays. That's who I'm talking about. I'm talking about women who make their money and they like nice things. If you cannot support that lifestyle, that is likely not the woman for you. Stop pursuing women who live a life that you cannot maintain.
Okay, let me stop right here before Anton even get going. Let me stop right here. It's so much I got to say about this. First and foremost, normally women who fall under what she just described, normally those women are career successful, but yet still single for totally different reasons besides the lifestyle that they can afford themselves. They're normally not selected for lifelong companionship for totally different reasons besides the money that they are able to amass in their careers or in their field or in their entrepreneurship or whatever they're doing. Normally, that's not why they single. Second, she talking about if a woman is doing it big and she can afford all these things for herself, you shouldn't date her unless you can afford those things for her. It doesn't make any sense. If you can afford it for yourself, why does he need to afford them for you? It does not make any sense. If you have the money to comfortably support and provide for yourself, and a man comes in and he comfortably supports and provides for himself, and you guys combine things up, yeah, you may care about superficial, high fashion or expensive things more than he does, but that's something that you've been doing for yourself. So continue. And if you know your man is living inside of his means, but you love him for all the other great qualities that he possesses, what are we really talking about? Let's continue.
For example,
Matter of fact, I'm gonna take it from the top. Let's roll.
Y'all gonna let me have a real conversation with y'all, or y'all gonna get in y'all feelings about what I'm about to say? Let me know real quick. I'm about to say it anyway. It don't even matter. Y'all gotta start dating within y'all tax bracket. And I'm not even talking about the gold diggers or the women that only wants men for money. I'm talking about the women that got their own bread. I'm talking about the woman that's out here doing it. I'm talking about the women that's buying themselves all types of gifts, that's taking themselves on all types of vacations, right? That can get their homegirls luxurious presents for birthdays. That's who I'm talking about. I'm talking about women who make their money and they like nice things. If you cannot support that lifestyle, that is likely not the woman for you. Stop pursuing women who live a life that you cannot maintain. So for example, if this woman on an average Saturday, she going out with a homegirl, she going out with herself, and she could afford to drop $300-400, it's easy. Like, that's nothing. That's regular shit. If you cannot afford to do the same thing, baby, that lady is likely not for you. If the clothes she wears, the shoes she wears, the jewelry she wears has a higher price tag on them, and you know that you cannot afford that, baby, this woman is likely not for you. If the car she drives has a 20-gallon tank and she only can use premium gas and she got to fill her tank up twice a week, which is easy, $150 to $200 a week, right? If you can't afford to put gas in her tank, baby, just leave her alone. Like, you get.
So let me ask you a question. You know, as a guy that is super successful, just for the sake of conversation, I'm not just reacting to the video, for the sake of conversation, I am reacting to it because I think that this is worthy of a conversation. And I also appreciate the content creator. So, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. I'm going to put a link back to the content creator down in the description also. And then last but not least, make sure you hit a like, comment, and subscribe because we love for you guys to come over here and give your thoughts. What happens when somebody like me, for example, exists? Just using myself, for example, because I don't want to just be hypothetical. I want to make sure that y'all understand that this is a real conversation. What happens when somebody like me, who is way above her pay grade, right? And I can afford to go and do anything that I want. I can go and charter a jet for 40, 50,000 one way and then 40, 50,000 the other way and don't even blink an eye. I go to the dealership and I could just cash out on a 150,000 car without even thinking about it. I buy $40,000 watches, $50,000 watches, and I have a whole lot of them. Should she step outside of herself and only kick it with a person that has, and I'm just asking a question, we're going to get to the full video. Should she stay out of my way because she not in her tax bracket? Or should I then make myself available to her because that's just what the power dynamics are within relationships? Because it's different, right? It is different that we live in a time where women now are equal to men, right? Women are in a space to where they can choose for themselves. A lot of times they say that they make more money than us now, that they're the biggest homeowners, which of course I know that they are not the most educated. They are the most enrolled, and they are not the most financially stable. They are the most in debt. And if you go through and you look at all of the people that are complaining about student loan garnishments that are coming up on May 5th, that is almost all complaints coming from women, specifically Black women. And so when I look at this, and I'm not saying that she's wrong, all right? So let's be very clear. I just want to make a point to ask in this conversation because I think it's short-sighted to only look at it from one lens. I think that we got to look at it from different lenses. When she runs into one that is way up here and she thought she was popping way down here because her premium gas and her $300-400 and whatever her brands are. I wear brands or whatever sometimes, but most of the times I just got on a black t-shirt. And I see women that say that they popping it and they sitting in the stands, but I sit courtside, row one. What's the difference? Let's continue.
You see where I'm going with this? I'm not saying you don't deserve love. I'm not saying that you don't deserve a good woman. What I'm saying is that that woman is just not likely it because you're going to have to take her out of the lifestyle that she's used to because you cannot afford the things or the experiences that she can. And it's not just about the monetary and material things. That's just the root. But let's look at it like this. Shorty want to go on a vacation to Dubai. Shorty want to go on a vacation to friggin' Turks and Caicos. And she want to go get a villa, right? With the butler and the pool right in the room and jacuzzi and everything. Baby, that's a $10,000 trip. But on that trip, there's going to be so many memories that is created. But because that is outside of your tax bracket, you cannot go on that trip with her and create these memories. You see where I'm going with that?
No, I don't see where she going with that. Let me tap into reality with y'all real quick. Just reality. If you're going to do a $10,000 vacation, and you're in love with a man who makes reasonable money, but he's not considered rich, but he lives a comfortable lifestyle within his means, and y'all together for the long ride, plan the vacation a year out. What is this whole Instagram thing or this social media thing where you got to be able to up and go in a month? My parents have been all over the world. They've been married 40 years too. You see how that worked? And they just plan their vacations. If a vacation is going to be expensive, they don't rule it out. They plan it out. That's it. There's nothing wrong with scheduling out a vacation 6 months out, a year out. The most expensive vacation I ever paid for myself cost a little under what she talking about. And I planned it a year out. Matter of fact, a little over a year out. And I was making amazing money for myself at the time as a single man, no kids, no nothing. I still no kids, no nothing. But what I'm saying is at that point in time, I was super young, moving and grooving, and I still was responsible enough to plan it out. There's nothing wrong with planning out a vacation. Shorty, you gonna rule out having a husband, somebody to protect you, put you under his covering, create a family and a foundation with. You gonna rule a man out from being your husband because he can't up and go to Dubai right quick? Sometimes I think we have to look at shit like, what are we really saying? You would rather not have anybody at all than to have somebody who needs to plan out a vacation that's going to potentially cost him 5 figures. Because that's most of the people in the country, right? Most people that's going to take a 5-figure vacation, they're going to need to plan that out. They can't just up and go. That's most people in the whole country. So if your husband happened to be 5'10" and makes 90K, but lives in a state where the cost of living is reasonable, you gonna disqualify your husband because you can afford to up and go to Dubai? You would rather be alone? Sometimes I don't think these women hear themselves. I just don't think they hear themselves. I'm not even saying that what she's saying is like completely disagreeable, because I understand the mindset of because she's describing a boss chick, a boss babe, like $300-400 on lunch on a multiple day basis in a week for a female, and she said it's nothing to her. She not blinking about that. That's a boss chick. I'm gonna tell you right now, every man got this story because we have to learn through trial and error. I done been up and down financially. I done been somewhere in the middle. I'm talking about the spectrum of how money's flowing in the country. I done been in a higher percentile, I done been in a lower percentile, and I done been what y'all call middle class, middle of the row, or upper middle class. I done been in all them little brackets. I never was going to go spend $300 on lunch. Not for no female, not for myself. I just not doing it. I come from humble beginnings. I come from the inner city of Chicago. I seen SWAT raids with my own eyes. I heard the gunshots. I done had to duck. I done been through some real life stuff. So I never forget where I come from, and having some modesty. Now, I don't even believe in humility, because humble, if you read the definition of it, it's synonymous with low self-esteem. But some modesty and some understanding, it'll just take everybody so much further. It'll take everybody so much further. Let's go.
But if there's another type of woman, same type of character, same good woman, right? Who's cool with a little 3-day, cruise to the Bahamas, that's only going to run your pockets a good $500, baby, that's where you need to be. And again, this is not me saying for anyone to settle, but this is me saying that you got to be realistic. Now, is it impossible for you to bag a woman like this? Of course not. Right? You know what I'm saying? Because really, if you got charisma, you could bag almost anything. Right. But can you sustain a woman like that?
I'm not really sure that guys care about sustaining it. They only care about bagging it for the night. And so I think that a lot of these women are going to do whatever it is that they're going to do. And they don't have no standards for the guy that they like. They only raise their standards for men that they think that they have to settle for. And so, when you having these conversations, we got to look at it from more one lens. And I don't think that she had the amount of time probably to go through all of these different scenarios that I'm now going through. And again, I always like to link back to the content creator. I don't think that she's wrong, but I think that what I tell guys now is to stop dealing with broke women. And when I say broke women, I'm not talking about women that are going homeless or anything like that. I'm talking about women that are not on their level financially, because those type of women then look at you as a target or a mark, or you then become food, or you become a come up for them. Let's say that she makes $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 a year, and you make exceptionally more. Don't talk to her, because she don't have as much to lose as you, and as a result, it's going to be a lopsided relationship, because she feels as though you need to prove yourself to her. And most women often at times will say, I want a man that make as much as me or more, because it doesn't matter how much she makes. She feels as though she deserves more. Furthermore, we also don't have these same women meeting the same quality of standards, because what we don't say is that men a lot of times, especially men of a higher means, they make sacrifices in their entire lives in order to get to the spaces that they are financially. And, women, they make sacrifices sometimes that are career driven, that are super successful and all of that. And they make sacrifices to get to where they are financially. But often at times when they get to where they are financially, they raggedy, they not as well put together. They wind up getting a whole lot of surgeries, BBLs, because they don't have the time a lot of times to focus on themselves, or they don't have the time to a lot of times to pour into themselves as much as a woman that is living in her femininity. And so I think that it's just multiple different avenues that we need to explore, because there are more variables that go into the conversation. But I don't think that guys, I think that they need to start raising their standards. You're going to see guys that just like a woman for who she is, and that's going to be that, right? And he's not going to pay attention to what it is that she makes because he just loves her, or he's just attracted to her, or he just want to get with her. And that guy a lot of times is the guy that gets finessed and taken advantage of further into the relationship because he had too much to lose and they weren't equally yoked. Similarly, a woman is only looking at it most of the time because they're hypergamous and they want the best available option. They're looking at everything from a business perspective. And this is why you see her saying, hey, if she's not in your sphere, then don't deal with her, because this is the type of lifestyle that she lives and you can't give that to her. But we don't talk about love. If a man is paid, but then they come together, it's our money. If a woman comes together with a man and she makes more than him, it's her money. And this is the hypocrisy that comes along with equal. There is no equal. I understand that gender roles play a huge role in relationships, and we don't want to have a conversation about that. Should you go for the chick that, make a lot of money, or she makes more than you? If you're a man that, is just a regular guy, you make a decent amount of money, you got a really good lifestyle or whatever, talk to her. Add her as a part of your network. Kick it with her. See who she is on the inside. It's not about whether or not she wants you or not. She gonna give it up for whoever it is that she likes. But more importantly, I think that people need to focus more on character, good energy, whether or not you believe the same. And more importantly, for guys, you need to vet for the person that you're going to be, not for the person that you are, because she's not always going to qualify for who it is that you're going to be. Then you have a much greater runway in your future than where you at currently right now. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Again, I like her. I think this.
Hey, let me bring it in right quick and give my final thoughts on it. Honestly, I feel like this one is a complex situation, because Anton speaking to it and gave a lot of advice to men in regards to how to deal with the thinking of women who kind of look at things this way. But I would say this: as men, the best way to have a high shooting percentage out here is to really, 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 really just pick from the pool of your real available options. And by your available options, I mean that women that you find to be reasonably attractive, but meet all of your intangible requirements, character traits, morals, principles, like Anton said, belief systems. Those things are more important, because if you're talking about longevity, you're talking about sustainability, how a woman's hips are shaped is going to stop mattering pretty early on in the journey. So I'm not saying don't get somebody that you find attractive at all, but I'm saying out of the women, you may think somebody look better, but the person that's a better human may be one notch down physically, but a more amazing person. And she might like you more. Get the chick that really is on you. Like on you. You know what I'm saying? Can't see nothing but you. And the spirit, because it's different. It's different. She might not even have an Instagram. Might have never been to the club. They exist. These around the way girls, they exist. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's best to just really focus on trying to weed out the bullshit so you can reduce your amount of traumatic experiences. Again, if you play the field, you're going to catch a pop fly at some point. Men, we largely learn through growth and experiences. So shit gonna happen. But just to narrow it down, I would say the best thing to do as well for people that's listening to this that's younger is to actually try to get yourself out the game sooner than later. A lot of people don't want to hear that, but it's true. All this playing the field, exploring options, spending your 20s doing you, all that shit is overrated. You do all that shit, and then what ends up happening is you just got a bevy of wild ass experiences, traumatic ass experiences, hurtful experiences, ups, downs. It's a roller coaster. And then you carry all the baggage and the burdens and the thought processes and the perspectives and all of that from the trauma and the heartbreaks and the failed this and the tried that into your ages of maturity. And you try to go get serious with somebody else who got the same luggage, and it's too much to board the flight. It's too heavy. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. Let me know what y'all think about this one. It was good joining up with Anton to share perspectives and bouncing perspectives around. This is something that's a great conversation piece. Hopefully they cover it on After Hours. If they haven't already, I got to do some catching up on some things. I've had a lot of physical therapy the last few days. But listen, man, I need y'all to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit the comments. And if you don't do nothing else, man, stick to the codes. Yes, Lord.
Classic codes, I ain't taking it slow. Forgive me, Lord, I woke up in that mode. Whether the